challenge today. First of all, my camera wouldn't work, then my microphone wouldn't work. So I'm coming to you today from my phone. But I wanted to demonstrate to you that no problem is too big for me because I'm resourceful. And so what I've done is utilized my other devices to be able to bring this to you. So it may not be the best one of these that I've ever done, but it's really important to me that I keep my commitment to do these each and every day. So welcome to Leadershipisation, all things leadership. I'm Beth Bergen. I'm an internationally acknowledged leadership and communication coach, and I work with both individuals and with teams. And I'm here most every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Look, for the last couple of weeks, what we've been talking about is, last week what we talked about was signs that perhaps you were being a little hard on yourself. And what we identified was that here are some signs, but here were also some strategies to help you to actually deal with that. This week, what I wanted to look at and explore was the overuse of a strength, and how when we overuse a strength, and it's the same when we overuse a weakness, but when we overuse a strength, it actually becomes a saboteur and it actively holds us back. Yeah? So let's examine perfectionism. I came across this quote the other day, and this is what really inspired me to look at perfectionism today. And it talks about how perfectionism is not actually a standard, it's an obstacle. Perfectionism is not a standard, it's an obstacle. And so I'm sure that we all know someone who is a perfectionist. I mean, you may actually be living or working with one, or you may identify yourself as a perfectionist. So let's look at what their strengths are. A perfectionist will set really high standards for themselves and for others. They're often hard workers. They can be really self-disciplined, and a perfectionist is someone that you would really want to rely on to be able to bring some sense of order and some sense of organization to situations that are really chaotic, or that are quite ambiguous. Someone who's a perfectionist is a bit of a stickler for the right way of doing things. So often a really strong perfectionist is someone who would rather be right than anything else. And so a question in my coaching that I often ask them is this: would you rather be right, or would you rather have the relationship? So yeah, just be aware that there are many positives in those behaviors, because they actually encourage this push for excellence rather than settling for something that's quite mediocre. And that can be quite important, particularly if there are some specific processes that you need to be following. So a perfectionist may also be these things. They may also be really critical of themselves and critical of others. Particularly when those others don't reach these unrealistic high standards that the perfectionist might have. A perfectionist can have really strong views about how things should be done. They want them done in a particular way. And that can come across sometimes as it's my way or the highway. Are you recognizing this in yourself or anybody else just yet? Yeah. A perfectionist hates mistakes. And because they hate mistakes in their own work as well as in the work of others, because they hate mistakes, often what will happen is that they notice the small flaws. They notice the small things that have gone wrong rather than noticing progress or how much has actually been achieved or the effort that people are putting into it. So, yeah, look for that tendency in yourself as a leader because it's very demotivating. Um, Leaders will always do extra work themselves. They'll work late. They'll often stop delegating tasks to other people as a perfectionist because they want to make up for that sloppiness and that laziness in other people. And so they can often be a bit of a workaholic. Lots of perfectionists lean to sarcasm to get their message across. Oh, yeah, what will I do? I'll be sarcastic, and hopefully that will work better for me. At the same time as they're highly critical of others and at times highly critical of themselves, if you choose to criticize a perfectionist, or if you're a perfectionist and someone criticizes you, you're very sensitive about that. But why? Well, because you're really good at doing it anyway and you don't need to hear it from anybody else. So, another downside of a perfectionist is that they can be really frightened to try new things because they're concerned that in trying new things, it can't be perfect, so it mustn't be worth doing. Yeah? Does any of that sound familiar? Often, as a perfectionist, we just don't do things because we're waiting for the perfect time or the perfect person or the perfect circumstance, or we expect that our work is going to be perfect to begin with. So these are the very behaviours that can and do sabotage your success, both in your personal life and in your working life. And particularly as a leader, because you're giving everyone around you a hard time as well. So why does it cause such friction? Well, it creates frustration, it creates resentment, it creates anxiety in others. And that contributes to rigid thinking and a lack of flexibility. You know, people feel that they can never please you, so they give up trying. They can't please you, so why would they keep on trying? And that's the opposite to what you're actually hoping that it will do. You know, it's demotivating rather than motivating for them. Um, they're also really fearful to let you know about mistakes or concerns that they have because they worry about the response that you're going to give them. The list goes on. It's quite a long list. Look, I know it feels really great to reach those high standards and to have rock solid values. But if you find that your criticism of others is based in their inability to meet your standards, my coaching to you is this. It's time to examine your own relationship with perfection. It seriously is time to do that because perfection isn't a standard, it's actually an obstacle. Now, my coaching for you today, like that'd be really great, wouldn't it? I'll have a coughing fit now and this will be a total write-off. Never mind, we're going to continue. So my coaching for you is this. What is it costing you? This perfectionism, what is it costing you? What are you not doing because you're like trapped with this perfectionism, this desire to just have everything right or to have it all your way? What is it costing you? The second question is this. What is it costing others? What is it costing you in your relationship with others? Yeah. I also want you to explore this concept. Explore the concept that others are at least 10% correct. Just 10%. It's only a small amount of 100%. So give yourself permission to explore that. Others are at least 10% correct. Now, what will happen is that will soften. As you explore that will soften your belief that you are always right and that it has to be done your way. And that's an important thing for you to consider in softening that tendency for those really, really high standards. Next question to be asking yourself, what is perfect about you being imperfect? What's perfect about that? The other thing that follows on directly from that is what is perfect about others being imperfect. I'll give you a tip. The biggest thing is that it provides you with the opportunity to make mistakes and to learn from those mistakes. And that's huge. Rather than staying all bottled up and feeling anxious and like you're not good enough because of your perfectionism streak. So as a leader, that absolutely will hold you back. So finally, celebrate, embrace, accept, acknowledge that imperfect you as you are right now. And aim for perfect harmony. Okay. My Deliberate Reset program explores the impact that all of our saboteurs, there are 9 of them, all of those saboteurs have in our leadership, in our communication, in all areas of our life. So they really explore the impact that they have on success for us as an individual. And I'm taking applications right now. So reach out and I'll give you some more details about it. You can reach out by either, messaging me, private messaging me on one of the platforms or the platform that you're seeing this on. Thank you. I know today hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been of the high standard that I've established. But you know what? That's perfectly imperfect, which is fine. It's enabled me to be resourceful. I've learned how to use my streaming software on my phone, and I've got it done, which is the most important thing of all. So thank you. If you've watched the replay, put #replay down below. I'm more than happy to answer your questions and to take your comments. So please give me some feedback. And if there are particular questions that you have about leadership, communication, or mental fitness, let me know. And I'm happy to have a conversation with you or about them in Leadershipisation anytime. See you next Tuesday, 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Bye now.